Hello crafters, welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I'd like to make a card with you using products from my stash. I'm a big fan of Made to Surprise and I love Spellbinders. It's a little bit expensive for me to get Spellbinders here in Ireland, but I have got my hands on a small die of the month now. I got this through eBay, so it's a little bit old, but I love these. So I'm going to move down to the desk. I'm going to show you the products I'll be using, and then we'll get on and we'll make the card together. So this is the idea that I have for my card today. I wanted to use a die from Made to Surprise, and it's this one here. Now, this came out, I think, last year. It's the Snowglobe Dieset. When I get it, this is how I like to keep it in my craft room. I put it on a magnetic sheet and in a plastic sleeve, etc. So this isn't how you get it, but this is the packaging that it, this is the packaging it came in. So I wanted to take the die set in this and utilize it in making a snow globe. Now with this, it comes in two parts. You get your snow globe top as well as your snow globe base. And I thought about using these two separately, but I did have a go using some partial die cutting, and you could actually make up your bases so they're joined together. But I feel for this card, you don't really need that. So it's just an idea if you put this die on some cardstock and just partially die cut it, then take that die off and add this bottom piece and put it on. You could actually make up a snow globe frame. Now I felt this, it would be a little bit too hard. Plus, I do have these dies that came out recently. I think it's about 2 months ago now. And these are the 3D folding mechanism. And this die here, if I flip it around, actually I can show you. This die here is actually a stand. And I have a number of other cards made and on my channel, both live and in recording type on my channel. I'll leave links to them down below, but I felt if I took this die, I could then incorporate it with this die set and we could come up with something a little different and a lot easier than doing partial die cutting. But if you like a bit of partial die cutting, then you could fire away and make up your layers like this and join them together and you'd be away. So what I want to show you is these. So I've die cut out using this die here, this big round die, and you don't have to use this. You could use some nesting circles and you could take one of those circles and literally cut it in half to get your base piece. So you don't have to have these dies to do it, but I have them in my stash and I like to use what I have and share it with a lot of mixed up crafters who like these products. So I took the die and I die cut it out once, and actually in truth I die cut this die out 6 times. And what I did was I took 2 of the frames and I glued them together, and I did that twice. With the other 2, I took a die set from my stash. Now I just happen to have the Love from Lizi nesting dies. There's 21 in this set, and as far as I'm aware, Lizi still has these, and I will leave links to Lizi's website down below in the description. So if you're looking for anything I'm talking about or measurements, have a look in the description. There should be links to either websites, etc., measurements down there. I love these dies because they're so closely nested together. Now I've alternated my dies between, so it gave me a little bit of room that I can pull a die off, but they're so well nested together. They're a brilliant set. So I use this to get a nice size round that could fit in between my cards, in between my frame. So what I did was, using one of the Love from Lizi dies, I die cut out this image. Now this image is from the Made to Surprise Perfect Pop-Ups. And again, these are old. What I generally do is I scan each of the pattern papers when I buy a new paper pack, and that way then when I want to make a card, if I need more than one page, I know I can print them off on my printer. I'm not sure what the angel policy is for doing that if you're selling your cards. I think you can sell up to so many, but you can check the Craft World website and check that out. But I'm not selling my cards, I'm making them from family, so I'm quite happy to do that. So I've taken one of the sheets of pattern paper and I've die cut that out using my nesting die. Now you could use your frame die as well, but I just felt it would be easier to line this up. I also took a white piece of cardstock and I die cut that out as well, and I stamped my image on it. So I took my white cardstock and my pattern paper and I glued them together. And then I took my frames and I glued one on this side and one on the other side. And it gave me this piece. And it's like chipboard. It's really strong. And another reason why it's really strong is my white cardstock is 300 GSM and the adhesive I used is Collal. So I used a construction based adhesive, because generally a construction based adhesive, it will dry hard, whereas if you use a white adhesive like a PVA glue, something like the Cosmic Shimmer glue, the Burley Arts glue, the Connect glue, there's lots of white glues out there. When they dry, they don't dry hard, they dry softer, so they're more malleable, but they do bond just as good as your Collal or your Beacon 3-in-1 or your Yoo-Hoo or any of those glues. Anyway, that's what I did there. So I have a nice strong background for my piece. So I have now 2 frames. So everything is going to line up like this with dimension. And what we need then is our base, either our half cut die cut circle or this piece, and we need those for the base. Now with the this piece here, with the stand piece that I've used, I've die cut this out 4 times and I glued again 2 together. It gives me 2 feet that are going to sit down this way, and then my frames are going to sit into them. So that's those. I've also die cut out 6 of these bases, and I have, actually I've more than that done. I've die cut out I think 14, because we have 7 spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you don't have to fill all 7 slots. You could have 1 at the back, 1 in the middle and 1 in the front if you like. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, let me see, 5, 6, yeah, I've got 6 of these. So I've cut these out 12 times, glued 2 together, and it gave me a really solid stand. And then I have another 2 here that I glued together. So yeah, all together I've done 7, which is 14 pieces, glued 2 together. And then you can see in this one, on all the 6, I have a slot in here. Now these are going to sit into our slots here, and then they'll sit right down to the bottom, and I'll glue these in place. I hope you can see that there. So all of my 7 will go into these slots. And like I said, you don't have to have 7. You can put as many or as few in as you want. Now, how did I get these slots? Well, what I did was, I'm going to slide that out. I took my 2 that are glued together, and I took one of these little pieces, which is one of these here, and you can take any of them because they all have the slots in the same place. And then I took my piece and I popped it down there on my base, and I drew a pencil line in there, and then I slided it over to the other end and I lined it up, making sure they line up nicely there at the bottom. And I did another pencil line in there, and I'm going to do that with you and cut out those slots, and that will give me my 7 pieces. So I'm going to do that with you together. For the sentiment on the back of my frame, I use this Have a Wonderful Christmas, and it's the Sentiments A5 stamp set. But again, use whatever you have in your stash. So now, what else do I have? So to decorate all my layers, I've got some Christmas trees. And let me see. My Christmas trees, I've stamped these using some embossing ink. Then I went over it with some embossing powder. So my trees are gold rather than doing them in green or black, which is what we usually do. And I heat set the embossing powder. And then what I did was I used some of my Distress Oxide inks to give some texture. I coloured in the little baubles, and then I added some accent glaze to the top of those. So I have a number of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again, because odd numbers is always good. And this is the die set. It came from the Vintage Christmas Stamp and Die Set. That's my Christmas tree. But again, you can go to Google, print up some Christmas trees, and cut them out and use those, whatever you have in your stash. I've got some piles of snowballs, and my snowballs come from this stamp and die set. It's the Snowman Stamp and Die Set. You can see them here. Stamp them out. Now I stamped these in a light grey colour, and then I coloured them in using some of my alcohol inks, and I just coloured around the edge of those in blue. I hope you can see them well enough with my webcam. If it'll focus on that, I'm not too sure. But hopefully you can see them there. So that's my snowballs to decorate. Then I have Santa in his sleigh, and that comes from this set here, which is the Treetops Stamp and Die Set. This one you could just die cut it out in black and have it as a silhouette, and I've done that for a couple of cards already. But I've also, I like this way as well, where I've stamped it, die cut it out, then I took my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen and added a little bit of sparkle to that as well, because it's a Christmas card, so why not? I've also got some sentiments here. These are the big words. Let's get it right, not be dyslexic. I have an awful habit of like I've done birthday happy before, so yeah, Merry Christmas. And these two come from these two sets. My Merry comes from the Made to Surprise Big Words Stamp and Die set, and my Mix and Match sentiments will give me my Christmas. So they're the ones that I've used there for that. And then lastly, I have the polar bears, and these are from, I keep mine in a little wallet with some magnetic sheet. They're the small die of the month. I've printed this up because I bought these dies loose on eBay, and it's the Festive Friends, and they're DOM-OCT24, and again I do believe these are still available as well. I have these cut out. There are loads of videos on YouTube for how to assemble them, so that's why I didn't do it for this video. But I just assembled my bears. I gave them a little bit of inking in grey on them so they have a bit of dimension. Use some pattern paper, and I believe this is the Hell's Couple-Ditch pattern paper that I've used here. And yeah, I've got 2 polar bears. This card is for my daughter in the Netherlands, her husband, and 2 kids. So Alicia's favorite color is purple, hence the reason I've gone with this. And again, I've given her some ink blending around the edge. I've gone a little bit softer with her to kind of denote that it's a female bear, so you know. And then I've got my 2 little penguins, or penguins, however you like to pronounce it. That's a little joke regarding Benedict Cumberbatch and him trying to say penguins. But my little granddaughter, she loves red. So I've done her penguin in red, and then my little grandson Arlen, I've done him in green. So that's the family one. So I've done a Christmas card for my two other daughters and their respective families. So this is the one for them. So that is all our pieces and parts. I'm going to clear off the table now. I'm going to bring in the base and show you how I put the slots in them. And then we're going to do a little bit of assembly. And that's the fun part. And I'll probably talk you through a little bit of that or have background music on it for you. But I think this is the important part, seeing what I'm using and then going from there. So let me clean off the desk and let's do a little bit of assembly. Okay, so the first thing we're going to work at is our base pieces. And I have two, as I said, together glued in. I'm going to take my pencil and let me see. I have a pencil here. So I'm bringing this piece to line up with the corner and the edge of my base piece. And this just ensures that they're all going to be the same. So I have a pencil mark done in that one. And I'm going to again line this up with the other one as best I can. And do a pencil line there. Now, if you see our notch here, it's not just a cut line. What I find is the best thing to do is to cut out your pencil line. That's what I do. So I cut just to the right of my pencil line and just to the left of my pencil line. I want to cut out just the pencil line. Now, if you cut a little bit bigger, that's fine. You can use a little bit of glue, and that's what I do. It's what Sam recommends. I have a little trick to how I do it, and I'll show you on that. And that's what we're going to do next. So this is my template piece that I keep for every time I'm doing this. And I'm going to take my Fiskars scissors. I have recommended these scissors to a couple of other crafty friends and they really found them good. So hence the reason I'm recommending them on my channel. So hopefully I'm zoomed in now and you can see what I'm doing. I have my scissors just to the right side of my pencil line that's on there. And then I'm going to come just to the left. And then it may just pop out or you can pull it out there. And we have a lovely little slot that we've cut out. So I'm going to do the same on this side. Again, just to the right and just to the left. And less is more. You're as well off to cut out, you know, a small slot rather than a big slot. So I'll just trim it off there. You can just pull it off like I did on this one, or you can trim it off. So we have our two slots there now ready to go. Pop that in the bin. So now the next thing I want to do is put all my base together. So I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. And I've got my two, I've got one here. Where's my other one? So I've got my 2 feet. These are the stands. So I have 2 of those and I have my 7. These are what I'm calling my snowbanks. So I have those. So I'm going to glue these together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 to the back, and I'm going to have this so it's facing the right way when you look at the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my precision glue, my Barely Arts precision glue, and I'm going to add a little drop of the glue. Now you can put it just at the bottom of the opening there, or you can add a little line of glue the whole way along, whatever suits you. Or you can add your little drop of glue up here to just at the top, about 1/8 along. Add a little bit of liquid glue in there, and that way then when you add this on, the glue will dry and it'll ensure that your pieces don't come apart. I'm at the end of my Barely Arts glue, so sometimes it doesn't come out very well, but there we go. So I have a little blob of glue there, and I'm going to add that into my slot, and then once that has set, once that's dried, it'll ensure that this stays in, because if you do your slots a little bit too big, then they might slip apart. So I do recommend add a bit of glue. Now what Sam does is she takes her glue when she has them all in, and she just puts a line, a very fine line of glue all the way down along here, and that can you know, set it up as well so it's in good and proper. So whatever way you want to do it, I just find adding the little drop of glue in there at the bottom and then adding it in, I find that that holds it just as well. So we have those two in, and you want to make sure that this is set down, everything is flat to your desk. That way it won't be wobbly or anything when you're finished. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around now, and I'm going to add another one to the front. And once I've that done, then I have this stabilized that I can just slot all the rest in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two facing out from the back, and then I'm going to have the other 5 facing to the front. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll add a little bit of glue again into the top of my little slots here, and I'm actually going to pop that onto the back one. So there we go, we have our stand or our base all nicely done. Now I have taken a little bit of my distress ink in grey, and I've gone around a lot of these just for a little bit of dimension. You could do these all different sizes, you know, if you wanted your banks going up or down in size, and I've kind of shared that on some of the other cards I've made. I wanted these all to be the same height because I wanted to have that snow globe look, so that's what I'm going with. So now we have our 3 frames here, and what I want to do is I want to add this one to my 3rd from the back. So we have 2 of our frames with our design facing one way, and then we have 5 of our frames with our design facing the other way. Now you can set this on any one that you want, but I'm going to have this as 3rd from the back, and I'm just going to glue it on like so. I'm just going to add it on to my panel there like that, and then once I have that one on, I'm then going to add my other frames on. So you can do it that you have a frame at the front, or you might want one there and one there. You can have them whichever way you want. I think I'm going to go one to the front and then skip one, add a frame, skip one, add a frame. That's my plan with this one. So I'm going to pop this one on first, and I want to make sure I have this all nicely lined up. It's kind of hard to show you there. I'm going to have it so this one sits on like this, and then I'm going to line all the rest of them on so that they all look more or less the same. They don't have to be exact. It's paper craft. It's a Christmas card. Just do your best.
Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter snow. Oh, Christmas tree, You stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter snow. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter snow. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty.
And there we go. There is our fun snow globe Christmas card using a plethora of made to surprise products, as well as some love from Lizi and Spellbinders products that I had in my stash. I do love this. I think it's so cute. The whole thing will fold flat. It just all leans over like so, and it will go in an envelope measuring, let me see if I get my ruler the right way round, 9 by, and that's 8. So what I generally do is I will either make an envelope using, there's the envelope makers, you can go onto Google and it'll give you an envelope maker. So you can put in, you want an envelope that's 8 1/4 by 9 1/4, and it'll tell you exactly how to do it. You can use your We Are Memory Keepers envelope maker to do it. I find for my bigger cards, because it's not 8 by 8, it's 8 by 9. What I'll do is I'll take an A4 envelope, of one of which I have here, and I just decorate it. Let me show you. I just decorate it with fun Christmas things. I've left room here to put my stamps. I'll fold my card flat, and what I'll do is I could wrap this in a bit of nice tissue paper or a bit of bubble wrap and pop it in there and send it off. You can also fold the envelope, you know, the flap over, so my envelope is only this big, so this will be folded over and glue on the back. I've taken an MTS stamp and it says may contain socks. I think that's hilarious, but you don't have to necessarily make an envelope for this. You can take an A4 envelope and just make it to size. So if I was to fold this over like so, and then pop my card in there, it'll fit in there perfectly. So whatever is easiest for you. But there we go. I'm going to flip up now to the camera so that I will have a little bit, there we go, get my mouse working. I'll flip it up to me. Here we go. And just so that I can show you this with my lovely, now if I can get this right, everything is flipped over when you're in this position. Okay, that's better. There we go. So this is my card when it's folded flat. That's the back. We've got room there to write a sentiment, and then the whole thing folds over, and we have a lovely dimensional piece for Christmas. And I know with my daughter what she does is she keeps these, and every year she will bring this out and display it as part of her decor, which I love the fact that she does that. And I love that there's, you know, there's Alicia and her hubby Jens, and the two little kids, Jane and Arlen, are in there. So there we go. That is my fun Christmas card for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do let me know down in the comments. I love to see your comments. I love reading your comments, and I always do my best to reply to your comments as well. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there, folks. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and bye for now. Bye bye.